What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to another episode of This is the Sports is My Love Language podcast. And I'm here with my guy, AK. He's in the background right now. First, let's do a little house cleaning first. I'll start off with, ladies and gentlemen, you saw a little quick clip. That is one of our newest sponsors. It's called Queen Meats International. In this life, some people are in a rush to reach their destination. Others prefer to enjoy the ride. Some drink to get drunk, and some savor the taste of fine wine or a good meal. If you're in the latter, sit back and delight in a unique journey with Queen Meats International. Her sense and unique infusion methods are designed to take the proverbial edge out of life. Queen Meats' number one goal is to guide you down a more sophisticated and gentle hemp experience, perfect for meditation, yoga, and turning down from the stress of daily life. Backed by hours of the research, our candles are made from a unique blend of imported oils and a wick that burns slower and cleaner to get the most out of your investment. If you're someone who enjoys the finer things in life, we would love to be your introduction to the high life. You can contact us at Instagram, Queen Meats International, or at thequeenmeats.com. And I'll be posting the link down below. Ladies and gentlemen, so welcome to another episode, man. So much to talk about. It's always with the NFL. We're going to lead off just a lot. I know my man AK wants to talk about his Eagles flying high. So we're going to touch each of the games that went on this weekend first. And then definitely going to chime in and talk about, what's going on with the matchups. I have a couple of different thoughts, especially about that Bills-Bengals game. But let's start off, man. Let's start off where it's hot, bro. Let's start off where it's nice and hot. Eagles, Giants. What did you see that you liked in that game, AK? What did you see that came away saying, I like my team? What's going on here?
Well, the first thing I like is at least one of my podcast partners who's a Giants fan showed up. So at first I was going to get a little bit worried, but Javi came in rep. So I like to see that. Look, man, I think it showed that the Giants are pretty far away from the Eagles, right? And I don't just say the Eagles, I'll say the top of the conference. I also think that we looked a lot like them last year, except we didn't even win a playoff game. We got smashed by Tampa Bay. So they'll have more money this year. They can address a couple of points. It looks like they got the right culture. I have no idea which way Dimes is going to go, Danny Dimes, but if they can keep making improvements there, obviously they need some receivers. My takeaway is the Giants are in a good spot to compete. I think if Dallas doesn't do a ton and Dak doesn't really improve, a couple of, add some cornerback help, add some linebackers, add some wide receivers, the Giants could very well, battle for that division next year. As far as the Eagles go, that's what we needed, right? Get back on track. It had been a month or so since Jalen had really played in a super meaningful game against the number one, starters on defense. Like the way we mixed it up, likes the way we got on top of them early. Defense was fantastic, as we've been all season generally. Really liked that game. I don't think that it's necessarily an indicator of what's exactly going to happen this weekend, but I certainly think that it was a really good game to get going. Most importantly, we didn't lose any of our players. Lane Johnson made it through a game. Jalen showed his shoulders not really all that messed up. At least, he can still make some throws down the field. But we're going to have to be more creative. We're going to have to be faster. We're going to have to be stronger. And we're going to have to play to our strengths to go ahead and beat San Francisco. I'll tell you my thoughts on that when that topic comes up. But that's how I feel. I think the Eagles played really well as they should. That home field advantage was huge. And I think that the Giants showed that, there's still a little bit of a gap. But again, in the NFL, you can close gaps pretty quickly in this league if you do the right draft and make a couple of trades and free agent pickups if you've got the right coaching and potentially the right quarterback.
I like it. What do you think of the coaching as we get closer in the playoffs? What do you think of Sirianni's coaching? What do you think of his moves?
I think that's one area that San Francisco likely has an advantage this week. But look, it's hard to knock them. You know what I mean? We're 15-1 with our starting quarterback. That's props to the coach. I don't even want to bring up any negatives this week, but I don't like our defensive coordinator. I think he plays too soft. That being said, we were 15 yards. We were. You guys led the.
Yeah. Your defensive backs played pretty damn good, and you still not really happy with your DC?
No, because I think we play a full bend, don't break defense. All of our cornerbacks are always 10 yards off the receivers, and when you have the most sacks and second most in history, when you have the most since 1968, you don't need to do that. The teams that move the ball on us are dinking and dunking. we don't get burned over the top very often. Great, I get that. But I do think to some extent, especially now, you're going to be playing Purdy. Like, he's not going to be able to do a lot of audibles at the line of scrimmage. The guy's never even been outside of the West Coast so far this year. So he's not played in an environment like this. So I think it's important to kind of pull up on Samuels, on Ayuk. Don't give Kittles as much room, because the one thing we may be susceptible on is tackling in the secondary. So I don't like the way he plays so far off, but it's worked for us this year, certainly. But it's also why in the last 2 years, whenever we've played a good quarterback, the guys are throwing over 80% completion rate. So take it where you will. As long as we're explosive, it doesn't matter, because, again, they're not giving up huge plays. But I certainly feel strongly that we need to be a little bit more up-tempo and pressed on in this week. But Steichen has been fantastic with the play calling. Sirianni's obviously a leader. Whatever he's doing is working. And we got a ton of veterans. We got a ton of veterans that help with the coaching. So, the leadership, I should say. So, yeah, I feel pretty good, though. I will say, I think, all due respect to Andy Reid, I'd say the most dynamic coaching left in this, and Zach Taylor, I have to say that San Francisco probably is the most dynamic coaches left. D'Amico Ryan will be a head coach next year unless something crazy happens. And Shanahan has done fantastic with always a backup quarterback.
Yeah. Avi, so your Giants, they exceeded expectations this year. Nobody expected them. Everything, they were playing with house money in the playoffs. And I know a lot of people got excited. And you saw some things with Danny Dimes. You saw some things with Saquon Barkley. We know they don't have any wide receivers. What was your takeaway from the season and from what you saw in the playoffs?
As far as the season is concerned, as a Giant fan, I think we can all say that, it was a successful season. We obviously overexceeded expectations. Nobody expected us to make the playoffs. And on top of that, getting a playoff win. As we, chatted about Brian Dable, probably the coach of the year at this point. But now we're going to really know what he's really made of next year, because now there's expectations. So do you live up to the expectations is really the question now. As far as the playoffs go, beat the Vikings, which, again, I know a lot of people will say, is probably the most overrated 13-4 team. I was one of them. I felt like I was
those
one
are
of
NFL wins, man. At the end of the day, those are NFL wins. So I always kind of hesitate to call anybody overrated. Those are NFL wins,
I get that.
Given Sunday.
It's one thing, it's one thing to be 13-4 and pretty much, have easy victories. But when, I think, what was it? 12 of those games, were one position.
Yeah, the point differential. I get you.
So that, they could have been easily, 4-13. It's just one of those things that they won the close
luck
games.
landed in their lap.
And the Giants as well did that this year. But again, for the lack of talent that the Giants had, you would say, they exceeded expectations, as opposed to the Vikings. It feels like they underachieved, even though they were 13-4, because they shouldn't be 13-4 and win 12 games by just, one score. You kind of felt like they, with that talent that they have on offense, that they should have at least, probably half of those games should have won at least by 2 scores, right? And they did it. So I think that's why a lot of people were just, kind of saying that they were the most overrated 13-4 team. And again, I was one of them, because I said it when the Giants lost to them in the regular season on a 61-yard field goal. I said, this team is one and done. And the best part about it is that they were one and done against my Giants. Like, that was was like the cherry on top. But then we faced the Eagles, and you just saw the talent difference there. Like, there was just really, you could just tell as a Giant
position by position. Yeah, you saw there was a difference. Yeah,
you just saw that there was a total difference there. And I remember I was chatting with a couple of people online, and they're asking me, are you watching the game? I actually turned off the game once it was 21-0. Like, I just knew, there was really nothing else to watch. I felt like there was nothing that was going to get better for the Giants at that point. You just knew that the Eagles were going to win, and it wasn't going to be close. And at the end, I think the final score was like 38-7. But I started after 14-0. I was like, yeah, this game is pretty much done. But again, congrats to the Eagles. At this point, I just don't see how the 49ers beat them with Brock Purdy. I know Mike Shanahan has done a lot with, let's just say like what Akil just said with second string quarterbacks, because I agree with that. I never felt like Jimmy G was really a starting quarterback like that. So he has done. But again, when you're missing that key ingredient, quarterback, you just don't win Super Bowls, man. I mean, there's, like history just states that, right? There's been maybe 2 quarterbacks in the last 20 years that has exceeded that, and that's the Eagles with Nick Foles and Trent Dilfer. You know what I'm saying? But the thing with the difference between Nick Foles and Trent Dilfer is that Nick Foles actually balled out in that Super Bowl, as opposed to Trent Dilfer, that he actually did pretty well, but you just knew that defense was just not
right. It was just overwhelming.
Yeah. So, congrats to them. But I did feel like the 49ers had the chance to beat the Cowboys. Why? Because even though Brock Purdy is a rookie quarterback and he's Mr. Irrelevant, he doesn't act like one. You know what I'm saying? He doesn't seem like he's like the spotlight's going to be too much on him. What up, Coach Torres?
What is going on? I'm sorry I'm late, man. I was at a venue at Maserati, but I'm all about talking about sports.
It's all good, brother. Man. It's all good. We're going over the Giants-Philadelphia game, and so I'll let you. As a matter of fact, I'll let you chime in. What did you think of what was going on, Philly Giants? What did you see? What did you like about the Giants? What did you like about Philly? Go ahead, whatever you want to go with it.
Well, we all know. Obviously, we don't know because I'm new here. I'm a Philly fan.
You see, you got another one. You got another one up there.
And I think what happened in that game, which I'm glad it happened, it showed who we really are as a Philadelphia organization. A lot of people question Jalen Hurts. They question our defense. They question how healthy we are. And what happened was we came together as a team, and it showed our 14 wins. The Giants are great. No hats off to the Giants. They had an astronomical season with the coaching change and what they've put together. Hopefully they could keep that together with, this whole Saquon contract and all that stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm glad Philly did what they did, and we're just getting strong because we're getting Maddox back potentially, and Maddox comes back, and we're NFC Championship. Let's go! I was actually getting ready to fly out to Philly next week, this Sunday.
Nice. What do you call it? Okay, so here's the thing. I'm gonna give you my perspective on what I saw. I'm a believer that styles make fights. Okay, so when I saw the Giants play that finesse style, that finesse style of offense that Minnesota plays, I was like, yo, they got that. They're gonna win that. They're gonna win that game. But then you go up against, it's like Joe Frazier when he went up against George Foreman, right? The 2 brawlers, but there was levels to the brawling. You know what I'm saying? And you saw Philadelphia is a true brawling team. Now, here's the thing about the Giants. That Daboll effect is real, right? That Daboll effect is real. What it did for Daniel Jones' career, it literally saved his career. It brought down the turnovers. It showed him as an actual weapon on the team. It did a lot for them. So I really like a lot about the Giants, man. I think they're maybe a wide receiver and another playmaker away from making some noise, from doing a little more. I think they're that good. I mean, if they keep it together. Philadelphia, I think, is a machine, man. I think Philadelphia is a machine, and I think it matches up beautifully with what the 49ers do.
We're getting draft picks early. We have 2 in the first round next year.
Yeah, you guys are in great shape. Philly's in great shape. But I think even better, I think this matchup, star for star, maybe the name value isn't as high, but let me tell you something. In my opinion, player for player, you guys match up beautifully. And what
we're better than them.
And what you do just as well, or if not better. Your specialty, you do better, actually. You know what I mean? Because they got to get creative with Debo, and they got a lot of different weapons, yeah. But you guys basically line your guys up and say, I'm going to shove it down your throat, and I'm going to force you to stop us. And the beauty of it is you have Jalen Hurts, who's come on as a passer. So now he could get it over the top. You know what I mean? So that's a beautiful thing, Now,
I think Sunday's game, Mike,
yeah.
And I got an Eagles fan in here too. And hey, correct me if I'm wrong. So watching San Francisco, they're a very good team. Mr. Irrelevant, whatever you want to call him. You could put any quarterback in that situation with the tools that they
That's what Javi said. Yep.
With the tools that they have, and the quarterback will be successful. Now Shanahan though is an offensive genius. The thing is, he can put McCaffrey at slot, put Debo out there, put Debo in the backfield, and all this other craziness. That what's going to make the Eagles win this game is we stick to our fundamentals and play our game.
Pass rush.
The pass rush is there. Purdy doesn't know what's coming.
He has no idea what he's about to see. He has no idea. He has not felt this kind of pressure.
But if the defensive coordinator of Philly decides that he wants to focus on where their main players are, is where we're going to lose. Don't worry where they're at. Do your job, and we're going to shut that down.
Yeah, if I can jump in and add a few points here.
Yeah.
Let's look at the defenses, right? Because San Francisco they were number 1 in the league in defense by 15 yards less than us over the whole entire season. Besides Nick Bosa, their second most, the player they have with the second most sacks has 6. We have 6 players with more than 6 sacks, okay? We have 4 players with more than 10 sacks. You know what I mean? So right there, our defensive line is better. I understand that, and I think the world of Reddick, but I understand that Bosa's probably the best defensive end in football. But our defensive line is better. Our secondary, they have some safeties that are decent, but it's not even close. I mean, they let up the most yards and the most big plays in the league through the air. Think about that for the number 1 defense, right? It's not even close. Then their advantage is linebacker. I think that Warner's
Fred Warner and them boys. Those are some serious
best linebacker in football. However, what's he going to do? Is he going to shadow Jalen? Because if he does, now we can throw our outs, we can throw our slants, we can throw a whole bunch of different routes that we can go after, right? So I think that's hugely important. And the last thing, and I think, Coach Torres, you're on mute, but I'll pass it off to you in a second. I see you were trying to say something. The last thing that I'll say is he has this is a rookie who's coming into one of the top 3 loudest stadiums in football, who's not played outside of the West Coast. He has a sample size of maybe 5 to 7 games, I believe. This is not it. So unless, and I agree,
3 quarters, we saw him under duress against the Cowboys. For 3 quarters,
they scored 19 points. Mm-hmm. They didn't drop 30 on those boys. No. He scored at home. At home, he scored 19 points. This guy's not going to be able to make audibles at the line. Nobody's going to be able to hear him.
No,
it's a whole different ball game coming to the link. I'm telling you, man. I think that San Francisco's defense is crazy. I think Debo, Kittle, and McCaffrey are crazy. I still think, all in all, we have better wide receivers. I still think Goddard is a top 3 tight end after Kelsey and Kittle, possibly, sure. And I still think that if you add in Jalen Hurts, we have a better running game. Plus,
then Lopez left the comment.
So I don't see how. And again, I try to be objective. Obviously, my heart is where I grew up, but I try to be objective. But I'm seeing us win this game by at least 7, if not 10 points.
I think we're gonna change the name of this show to "Philly's My Love Language."
There it is. We're gonna bring it in with Boys to Men.
Boys, how do I say no? So check this out. Here we go. I touched on it right with the Dable effect, but it cracks me up because it rolls over to the next game that I want to talk about, which is the Bengals-Bills game. That Dable effect, you saw it in that game. I don't know about you guys, man, but I'm a big Josh Allen fan. But I see him leaning more towards Cam Newton these last couple of games than he was leaning towards, I would say, who's a big arm running quarterback, this elite quarterback that we have labeled as. You know what I'm saying? He's catching a beating. And here's what I hate to bring Lamar Jackson into it, but we're getting a glimpse of what happens to a team when they have nothing else and they just give it to the quarterback, go save us. And now he has to improvise and he has to make it happen. He's getting a beating. It's hurting. And on top of that shit, you're like, he's making some questionable decisions. What were your thoughts, Javito? What were your thoughts on that Bengals Bills game?
Javito.
I called it, right? Bengals.
Yeah, you did. You did call it. You did call it.
I called Bengals. Listen, man. I said this weeks ago. The Cincinnati Bengals are the best team in the NFL. Now, I know there's two Eagle fans that will probably disagree at this point, but there's one thing that I will say about the Bengals. His name is Joe Burrow. All right? And Joe Burrow,
Danny, thank you for the comments.
Is better than probably any of the quarterbacks out of the NFC. And he might be toe-to-toe with Patrick Mahomes at this point. All right?
I need to, you know me, until you do it, until you get the accolades and you're on the same level. But I think you're right, bro. He's a beast.
Here's the thing, and hear me out. Again, he went to the Super Bowl with one of the worst lines last year.
That's true.
All right? His line has improved. As a matter of fact, they destroyed the Buffalo Bills. Like, they had nothing.
They really did. That was bad, man. That was a bad one.
So there's a running game on top of that as well. So now you add the running game, and you have three really good receivers and a really decent tight end. And Joe Burrow is Joe Breezy, right?
Joe Breezy.
Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying?
It's
cool, man. And that defense is not bad at all. They could get after the quarterback. So, like, I'm just thinking right now, am I wrong? And at this point, I haven't seen it. They went into Buffalo and they destroyed Buffalo. And and right now, the only person or the only team that has Patrick Mahomes' number is the Cincinnati Bengals.
Tyson says Philly versus Cincy in the Super Bowl. I agree. That's what I'm going with.
So I had 49ers and Cincy weeks ago, but I do see the Philly winning this game after what I saw for a few weeks. I just don't know if Shanahan is going to be able to overcome this Philly defense. You know what I'm saying? Especially with this rookie quarterback. Yes, he looks decent. I think he looks better than Jimmy G, but it's still just not enough at this point, in my opinion. They have the weapons. They have Kittle. They have Debo, Ayuk. They have Christian McCaffrey, but they don't have the quarterback, right? If he had more legs to him, then I would say yes, maybe. But no, I see Philly. I see Philly and Cincy in the Super Bowl, and I'm still thinking Cincinnati's going to win the Super Bowl at this point.
Yeah, man, listen, I'm a huge Burrow fan. I said this when I saw him last year, and I was a doubter when he came out of LSU because I thought he was a product of the people around him. I was like, this guy's on an NFL team in college. Of course he's going to be good in college. But then I've seen that swag transition to the NFL. I'm like, holy shit. This dude it's like you have this calm where he's in the game, you're in it. You're going to be fine. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter what linemen are in there, who's falling apart. And let me tell you something, that offensive line outperformed. They put those Buffalo Bills on skates. Torres, what was your idea of the game, man? What did you think of that Bengals Bills?
So I knew that was going to happen too. I'm a big fan of Josh Allen. I love where he came from, but he's also playing injured. He had an early injury in the season, and I know that was going to hinder this game. But Joe Burrow is a better quarterback. Joe, what I like about him, and I know Javisito, you could shake your head, yes. Joe is that quarterback that nobody ever thought would be good. He was at Ohio State, and they told him, you're not going to be anything. So he bounced and went to LSU, and look what he did. And then came to the NFL, had an injury. I thought that was going to be the end of Joe Burrow, and look what he's still doing. He plays with a chip on his shoulder, just like Jalen Hurts.
Yeah.
They're quarterbacks that play with chips on their shoulders, and those are the quarterbacks that are going to lead a team, and that team is going to follow. So, yes, here's the thing. The Chiefs are a better team, I think, personally, and a better coach team. If Mahomes' ankle hinders him in this game, Cincinnati wins.
Yeah. AK, what are your thoughts? AK, you're on mute, I think.
I think what we're not taking, first of all, I agree. I'm taking the Bengals partly because of Mahomes' injury, partly because, damn, I hate to do this to the Big Red, but I feel like Andy's got to have a better team to win. You know what I mean? Like his time management is. I mean, and you know, Coach Torres, my fault. What's your name, brother?
Chris.
Okay.
Chris.
So I think Chris will attest. Like we will attest to the fact that his clock management sucks. His getting away from the run and going pass heavy sucks. Like he does that too often. So I'm certainly taking Cincinnati. The one thing I will say though, that offensive line is about to go up against the best defensive tackle in football. All due respect to Aaron Donald.
Chris Jones,
the best defensive tackle in football by far this year. So I think that's going to give them some problems. Besides that, to Javi's point, this guy's been dealing with a bum offensive line for 2 years now, and he made the Super Bowl already. So I'm still going to take Cincinnati in this game, but I certainly think that they're going to get to Burrow a little bit. And then on the flip side, I also think that Cincinnati's weakness on defense is their cornerbacks.
Eli Apple, yeah.
Hey, he went to my high school, so I'm going to be cool with Eli Apple.
Gotta be gentle.
South Jersey guy. But anyway, yeah, he's not going to be able to hang with even like the semi-marginal or a little bit better than marginal receivers that Kansas City has. I just think that the Bengals have a lot of weapons, man. And again, you know, I also, you know, think Joe Burrow is really good. I'll just backtrack to the game of Buffalo and Cincinnati, and I'll say this just shows you, man, like you could have a nasty quarterback, but continuity matters. And also the Bills have had a shot to win the Super Bowl 3 or 4 years. You almost wonder how long that's going to last.
That window's closing.
That window is closing, man. And so they're going to have to do something, and it's heavily going to be centered around getting a damn run game.
I mean,
you took it right out of
you exactly. Got to be able to move the ball on the ground. You got to punch people in the mouth. You can't just go to Diggs and a Beasley and Davis. Like you really got to be. If your quarterback is always your leading rusher, that's a problem. And as an Eagles fan, without Miles Sanders doing what he did this year in Gainwell, we wouldn't be where we were. Despite
and that's the crazy thing, right? Like I think I posted that. Like you thought that the Bills, just needed to surpass the Chiefs, and now it's like no. Now it's the Chiefs and the Bengals, and it's like, are the Bills even close enough now with those two teams? You know what I'm saying? And then you got to worry about other teams that might be picking up. You know what I'm saying? Like
Jacksonville.
Does Jacksonville become better than them? You know what I'm saying? And not that I'm a big fan of Justin Herbert, but do the Chargers become a better team overall than the Bills? You know, so like to me, it's like now I got question marks about the Buffalo Bills. More than any other team in the AFC.
They made the same mistake the Ravens made, but it wasn't as glaring because they had wide receivers. But they put the weight of the world on Josh Allen's shoulders and let his athleticism save us. Go ahead, make it happen. You cannot win that. That's what you can. People are like, oh, you can't win with a running court. No, you cannot win when you put the pressure all on him and don't give him. Imagine them with play action. That's it right there.
Mike, they lost their offensive coordinator, and they have a defensive coach. McDermott came from Philly as a D coordinator.
Exactly.
He's not going in. He's not able to let's adjust this on offense. You know what I mean? Like I actually don't think he can win a Super Bowl with them. I wonder if they're going to look at changing that position. I don't know. Probably not, but
they need to bring in a solid offensive coordinator.
Speaking of that, like with the Ravens, like they let go of their offensive coordinator because it's obviously whatever he was doing wasn't getting them to the next, let's just say over the top.
The Ravens were like playing a Tecmo Bowl back with Bo Jackson.
Again,
give him the ball, let him go. That's it.
Yeah.
That's
so again, I think we all can agree, you still need complementary, football, right? That he can run the ball, but like who's he throwing the ball to? Besides Mark Andrews, like you can't name a receiver on that team and say, I could see them going far with this.
And let me tell you something. That's exactly what's happening. If they don't correct it, and you see Diggs frustrated as hell. Diggs is already frustrated. I wouldn't be surprised if he ended up, man, listen, imagine Diggs on the Giants. Diggs on the Giants would be nice.
Well, you ain't leaving Josh Allen to go play with Dan.
No.
You are if you like Brian Dable though, right?
Let's get started.
Right?
Yeah, true. Or I was about to make a conspiracy thing, but I'm gonna keep it moving. One of the things I did notice was Cincinnati does play with a chip on his shoulder, bro. Yeah. They play with that chip like you disrespected us by selling tickets in Atlanta. And they really put that bulletin board material up, and they taking that shit personal. Like, yo, you really discounted us. Like, we weren't shit.
Yeah,
we all understand it's a business decision, but they really trying to
it's
put that out there.
Kansas City, because that's the other team that they were thinking that was going to go to Atlanta,
Yeah.
right? So, like, that's why I'm saying, like, you don't do that to Joe Burrow. You know what I'm saying? Like Chris said, right? He's always had a chip on his shoulder. Went to Ohio State. They said you ain't going to be shit. Went to LSU, won the championship, right? Went to Cincinnati, got drafted number 1, and what happens? He gets hurt.
Won the Heisman too.
And won the Heisman, right? Got hurt. They said, this guy's not going to be anything ever again. Comes back the following season, gets to the Super Bowl. You know what I'm saying? And all of a sudden, everybody doubted because, history says the loser of the Super Bowl, they never make it back, right?
Yeah, they shit the bed.
So look at that. Like, he's already in the AFC Championship game. He's a different breed mentally, I would say. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you're not going to knock him. You're not going to knock Joe Burrow down. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I just see the Cincinnati Bengals coming out on top, no matter how Mahomes' ankle is, to tell you the truth.
Before the end of the day, we're gonna go scores. Before we close out, we're gonna actually go scores. Everybody, for this finals, whatever, we'll go scores. But we'll come back to that. I do got a question for you guys. Do you, and this is biased, but do you believe that Brock Purdy should be in the discussion for Rookie of the Year?
No, he didn't play long enough.
I don't think so either, man. But he's for some reason he's popping up. And on some lines, he's like a favorite to win it. And I'm pretty disgusted because I'm like, especially as a Jets fan that doesn't have a lot to hang on to. And I got my man Sauce and I got my man Wilson that are killing it. And they're finalists. And I'm like, hey.
Yeah, but they're not white quarterbacks in San Francisco, man.
Yeah, the lead, the Kings over there. Yeah, it's a high market. It's a big market, big team that really has a lot of legacy and shit. And, they are in the playoffs. You know what I mean? But I just didn't. That just don't sit right with me, man.
I think it's all playoff success right now. He's 2-0 in the playoffs. So
yeah,
I think that's what's leaning at this point. But again, how many regular season games did he play? 7?
And I think the number where he was drafted is really the thing, kind of leading the charge.
It's coming to an end, dude.
You said what? Go ahead.
It's coming to an end.
Yeah, I hope so.
It's coming to an end this Sunday. And AK, I know you don't want to hear me say this. Thank you for doing that. As bad as this coming from a Philadelphia Eagles fan's mouth, I was actually rooting for Dallas this past weekend. And I was rooting for them for one reason only. Because I wanted them to make the NFC Championship and I wanted to send their asses home.
I hear that.
Because I was in Dallas and I went to the Dallas and Philly game Christmas Eve, where they beat us by 3 points, and we weren't healthy, but they were celebrating like they won the Super Bowl.
Of course. With 4 turnovers, and we lost by 3 points.
With Gardner Minshew and losing Lane Johnson and Sweat.
And Maddox was having a killer game until he was all over the field, man. I don't know.
I was rooting for Dallas. My wife is from Dallas, so my house is house divided.
Oh,
but
shit.
it ends this weekend. San Francisco, good run. It was nice. We're gonna repeat 2017, and I'll be at the Rocky Steps for the parade, just like I was in 2017.
That's it, man. That's it.
But let me ask you something, Chris. Did you expect anything else from a Dallas Cowboy fan, though? You know what I mean? Come on, man. Like,
they're like the most hated fan base on earth.
I just don't get it at times, man. Like, you knew that after they won their first playoff game, that they would come back to being that, that brash. Yeah, and it's just like, like a rookie quarterback just beat you by it. You know what I'm saying? So it just feels like every single time it just gets worse for them, in the playoffs.
Javi froze on us.
He did.
Yeah, man. What do you call it?
Just calm down, man. This ain't the 70s, and this
internet connection is freezing up on us. It's all good.
Anymore, bro. That's it.
It's over.
We only caught a little bit what you're saying, Javi. You were freezing it in and out a little bit.
All right. Well, I'm just saying that the Cowboys need to shut the fuck up.
There you go.
Really quick and simple.
I like it. A little snap. All right. What do you call it? Okay, so let's go to a couple of the awards. MVP, man. MVP. I want to go first on this one. I think, and I'll say this a million times, when you guys put in Gardner Minshew, it actually proved to me that Jalen Hurts was the MVP. because I saw the drop off in leadership. I saw the drop off in productivity. And he played all right. He didn't shit the bed, and he played like a backup could, but it showed how the continuity falls off, how the team kind of like there's a lack of leadership at the very, very top when Hurts is out of the game, man. And to me, I've seen, maybe it's one of those things where I remember Kobe had it on lock for a couple of years, MVP, and they gave it to Steve Nash. They were like, all right, it's enough. Let's give it to Steve Nash. But Kobe could have won it like 4 years in a row. Same thing with LeBron. LeBron could have won it 4 or 5 years in a row. Let's give it to the next best player because it's somebody. That's it. We're dying. We're done. You know what I mean? And it's gonna get like that with Jokic eventually. We're gonna give it to somebody else. And I know that. So with Pat Mahomes, I kind of get that same feeling. Like, all right, we know he's good. We know who he is. Let's give it to somebody. Come on, man. You know what I mean? And this time around, I don't see anyone else that would stood the test of time. I think my man Jalen Hurts is my MVP. You know what I mean? Anybody else with thoughts on that?
Yeah, I think that Jalen Hurts is the most improved player. I think he deserves to be a Pro Bowler, and I like that second team All-Pro. But I mean, look, if you put Mahomes on this team, we'd have at least as many wins. I think Mahomes. Mahomes is the MVP. And I don't like the Jokic comparison because Embiid should have won at least one of the last 2 years. If he wouldn't have got hurt 2 years ago, he would have won. But yeah, no, absolutely. I think it's Mahomes as much as I love Hurts. Of course, that's my favorite quarterback. I think it's Mahomes, and I actually think Justin Jefferson is a close second. So whoever Facebook user is, completely agree.
Which one? Justin Jefferson. Who that?
100%.
That's Tyson.
Yeah, Tyson. I got him over here. For some reason,
agree with Tyson.
Adoree Jackson, baby.
He ain't play half the year.
Yeah, Javi, what are your thoughts on MVP, man? Who do you think? Who do you have?
It's Patrick Mahomes. Reason being, you take out Tyreek Hill, nothing swayed off.
Yeah, that's true.
You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
And it's just that simple to me. That's it. Like you basically took probably the best receiver in the NFL off your team, and you're still lighting it up. There's nothing else to it. It's Patrick Mahomes right now.
Wow. Yeah. Okay. You can't. It's one of those. To me, if you stay with Hurts, Pat, you can't go wrong. I'm not mad. You can't go wrong. To me, Chris, what are your thoughts? Who are your thoughts on the MVP race?
I not to be biased. I want to vote for Hurts, but Patty Mahomes, man. Last weekend watching him take that hit to the ankle and
really come back, yeah,
and want to stay in the game, and watching him just his post game interview, he's worth what they're paying him. And when you see what they're paying him, which is ridiculous, but what he produces, and I mean, let's be honest, this entire season, the beginning of the season, the Chiefs started real slow, and nobody thought that they were going to be where they are today because of the loss of Tyreek Hill and this, that, and the other. But again, Andy Reid is an amazing coach. They have a good coaching staff, but that team is led by Patrick Mahomes. So my vote is Patty Mahomes.
Nice. All right. So, I mean, defensive player of the year, I think it's pretty clear that Bosa is going to win that. That's not even like an open race at this point. Everybody's already kind of crowned him to win the entire thing.
Who are the other candidates for defensive player of the year?
I would have got Reddick from the Eagles, right? Is he even a candidate? I don't even know. Is he a candidate? Who the four?
He's not, and that's bullshit. Honestly,
yeah, that's insane.
Parsons,
That's egregious that he's not on the.
Absolutely egregious.
That guy's a monster, and so he's the most underrated monster in the NFL right now.
I agree.
That is crazy. So who are the other candidates? Did you see who the other candidates were?
Micah was there. I think Warner might have been there too, right? I don't remember now.
Oh yeah, Fred Warner from the 49ers.
I'm not sure though. I don't remember. I don't remember seeing two Niners. I think it was Micah, and there was one other person.
So either way, I think we're pretty much sure that Bosa is going to win that. That's not it. Rookie of the year, man. Offensive rookie of the year. I'm hoping my man Wilson pulls it out. I don't know. Again, he's in there with Purdy. He's in there with my man from Seattle, the running back.
We're gonna give Nick Bosa the official Aaron Rodgers. He gets the MVP, but no Super Bowl.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's what he does. He's the guy. He's that guy. Fucking Jesus Christ. Defensive Rookie of the Year. There's Wooten. There's my man
Hutchinson,
which I think he's gonna take it. I think he's a monster. That guy's Detroit's in a good position for next year, bro. And they're gonna be all right, man. And Hutchinson is the leader of that defense. He's really, really good, man. And over Sauce. I love Sauce, but I think I got him over him. Yeah, that's pretty much with the awards. It was pretty clear cut this year. It's not a lot of controversy. Let's talk about your predictions for the scores for this weekend. Let's go there, and then we're gonna move on after that. And then Chris, I know I wanna talk to you about your superstar, your league that you do for the kids. Yeah. We're definitely gonna talk about that. I have some questions, and I want the world to find out, and everybody, our audience, to get to know. So if they have kids, children, or they want to donate, they can help out. Okay, AK, what are your thoughts this weekend on the games? What do you got? What are the scores?
For Cincinnati and Kansas City, I'm going to go with a little bit of a shootout. I'm going to go 34-31 Cincinnati. For Philadelphia and San Francisco, I'm going to be a little bit more measured, and I'm going to say a 24-14 Philadelphia win.
Defensive struggle?
Somewhat, yeah.
Somewhat of a defensive struggle. Okay, Javito, what are your thoughts on the games?
Actually, 24-13.
I got Cincinnati winning 30-21, and I got the Eagles winning pretty much like what AK just did. It's going to be like 24-14. I just don't see how they score more than what they scored in San Francisco. I don't see it unless Shanahan could pull something out of his ass. You know what I'm saying? I just don't see it. I think Philly gets this one like 24-14. Yeah.
Okay. What about you, Chris? What are your thoughts for the weekend? What are the scores? Let me see. Are you on mute?
So I'll start with did we do Bengals too? Or no?
Yep. Yeah, you can start with the Bengals Chiefs.
So we'll do Bengals Chiefs. I'm gonna say 28-14 Bengals.
Two touchdowns over the Chiefs. Okay.
And for the Philly, so I'm going with the Bengals, man. And then when we're going Philly San Fran, I don't think it's gonna be as close as what the spread says. I think San Francisco will be lucky if they score twice on us. So I'm gonna say 28. I say 31-14.
Wow.
But my heart says.
But I don't think it's
38. Hey, Purdy's gonna be pretty ugly this weekend.
I don't think it's ridiculous to think that San Francisco's only get one touchdown and maybe a couple field goals. I don't think that's ridiculous.
I kind of have it along the same lines though. I got it 27-19. For some reason, that 19 is sticking out for me. 27-19 Eagles. I think the Eagles are going to come out hot. They always do that. They're going to come. They're going to score first, second quarter. They're going to show you where they are. Third quarter, and then it might not even be that. They might not even have many touchdowns, but they tend to play that prevent defense in the second half. So I think that's where maybe the 49ers get a couple of points. So I'm going to go 27-19, and I'm going to go 27-19 Eagles, and I'm going to go Cincinnati versus the Chiefs. Man, I love Joe Burrow, bro, but I love Andy Reid, and I think this is still. It depends. It depends on how healthy Mahomes is. Man, this is a tough one for me, but they say it's hard to beat a team 4 times in 1 year, man. It's hard to play game plan, and you got Andy Reid game planning. Nah, man, I don't think it happens. I'm gonna go Chiefs 32, Bengals 28. For my final on that score, and I think the Chiefs pull it out and they move on to the Super Bowl. Oh, and I had it originally Cincinnati and Philly in the Super Bowl, but I think it's gonna be Chiefs, Philly. I just don't. That's Andy Reid and MVP, man. It's tough. It's tough. It's tough to kind of.
I got a question for all three of you. All three of you, and AK could chime in too since he's an Eagles fan. I love that he's an Eagles fan. But do you guys think this is Andy's last season? And if it was, how sweet would it be to see Andy go out either on top of his old team or to his old team?
What makes you think it's his last season?
I mean, Andy's getting up there, man. How much more can he really provide to a team and the NFL? He's done so much.
I just haven't heard anything of him slowing down, so I'm not sure. But
I'm just throwing
that would be some poetic justice, right? It would be poetic justice to go out against your team, the team that you put on the map.
I don't think he's retiring or leaving. He just looks like he'd rather be in coaching, because it feels like if he's out of coaching, he might be stressed. Like, it looks like he's just a football junkie,
a workaholic.
That if he doesn't have football, he's stressed out. So it looks like he's not stressed when he's a football coach. That's what it looks like with him.
Yeah.
But, if he wants to get to the Super Bowl and beat the Eagles, I'm fine with that, because there's no way in hell I'm rooting for the fucking Eagles. You know what I'm saying? So let's just get that out of the way.
I agree. I've never been that guy who's like, you got to root for the team in your division. Hell no. I don't want the Cowboys, Giants, or the Redskins to win anything. But I'll bring a little more. I agree with Javi wholly. I'll bring a little more context. When his sons were getting locked up, needing serious help, he didn't leave the team.
Yeah.
When one of them died, he left for like 1 week.
Yeah, that's crazy.
You know what I mean? Like, this guy literally prioritized football over everything, including his family. Sorry, Andy. I mean, that's just real.
Yeah.
So I suspect he'll be more like a Big Tuna, where he's just going to keep coaching until, the wheels fall off eventually.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think it would be a fantastic storyline, to Chris's point, for the Eagles to play Andy Reid. I mean, that would be fantastic.
It would be great.
And we know he's going to pass the whole time, so we just pin our ears back. And and again, props to the KC running back Pacheco, South Jersey kid, Rutgers kid.
Pacheco.
You know what I mean? I know his family, all good people. But nah, that would be a good game. But I'm taking Cincinnati. So.
Hey, he runs a 4.2, don't he?
Pacheco?
Yeah.
Was he that fast? Yeah, he killed it in the combine, right?
Yeah, I think he runs a 4.2, and that one run that he had last week, the only reason that dude caught him was because he had a good angle.
Yeah. No, Pacheco's good, man, and he's a humble story. Like I said, I know his fans and everything, so
NBA All-Star lineups came out today. The Western All-Stars are LeBron James, Stephen Curry, Luka Doncic, and Nikola Jokic, and Zion Williams. And for the Eastern All-Stars, it's Giannis Antetokounmpo, Jason Tatum, Kevin Durant, Kyrie Irving, and Donovan Mitchell. What kind of a fuck you to the NBA is that, yo? That my man Kevin Durant and Kyrie Irving made it to the All-Star. They must be hating that shit, bro.
So Joel Embiid didn't make it, but
not as
Kyrie and Donovan Mitchell made it?
Not as a starter.
Yeah. That's atrocious.
Wait. You don't think Donovan Mitchell has been playing lights out?
You think he's been playing better than the leading scorer in the league, who's won 19 of the last 23 games?
The thing is, I think, unfortunately, I think they match him up position. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't think they just do the top five. I think they kind of like put in
guards and forwards.
Position, yeah, and now you're putting them up against Giannis.
I think
like the sweetheart of the league.
I think Durant's probably the best player in basketball, and he still doesn't deserve to be there this year over Embiid.
No, he doesn't. Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Who do you think got snubbed? So you think Embiid got snubbed?
Ben Simmons got snubbed, bro.
That's your boy, Ben Simmons.
We broke that, man. I'm not celebrating that, but we broke that dude. Yeah.
He got snubbed, or is that like sarcasm?
It's complete sarcasm. The guy has more. The guy has more fouls than points this year going into yesterday's game.
My man, I would have liked to see a Nick, my man from the Knicks, Brunson. I would like to see him. I don't know if he would have fit in.
He deserves to be a backup. He deserves to make.
I mean, I don't think Kyrie Irving's having a better year than him. You think Kyrie Irving's having a better year than him?
No, but I still think he's a better player.
Yeah, but I think that that's the crap right there. Like, let's go by this year. I know the fans are the ones that select or whatever, but I think Donovan Mitchell's playing lights out. I really love his game. Tatum is probably one of the best. He's on the best team in the league, probably, and he's the leader of that team. Durant and Kyrie are the funny ones, because they put the league through so much shit, and then they still make the All-Star game. Giannis is the babyface, bro. He's the whatever. In the West, it's kind of like it's hard to dispute anybody in the West, bro. Maybe a Zion, I don't know, but Zion's also playing lights out. So I don't know who would you put in that spot. So
Zion has missed so many games. Why the hell is he even on that starting lineup? That's nonsense.
So dominant, man. I don't know, man.
I mean, I don't know. I would not put him on a starter. All right.
Well, I just wanted to touch on that, and we're definitely gonna start going more NBA heavy as the season ends. But Chris, I really want to talk to you about your Future Stars program. So, for those of you guys don't know, I met Chris. I've actually kind of through. It's like one of those 2-3 degrees of separation. I know Chris through his brother, played ball with him back in the day, from North Bergen originally. And he's now down here in Florida, and he's hosting a program that he developed called Future Stars, and it's for these youth. I believe it's 8 to 13 years old. 6 to 13, even better. 6 to 13 years old, and they are doing drills, and they have ex-NFL players and people that come in and talk inspiration into them and teach them through sports. Some of the benefits that they're going to gain in life. Chris, I brought you in because I wanted you to talk about it. First, let's start off. What's the mission of Future Stars?
The mission of Future Stars is to use sport as a vehicle to teach kids how to be better people. Society as a whole right now is just terrible. We can't change me. We can't change you, AK or Javi. We're already at an age where we are stuck in our ways. So how do we change society? We invest in our future, and our future is the youth. And those pivotal ages of 6 to 13 are the ages that they're ready to be molded to be, no pun intended, the future stars. So what we're doing is just using sport as a vehicle to teach them those fundamentals on how to be a good person. And, that's really the mission of Future Stars. And I know you brought me on, and I appreciate that. I want to apologize first because obviously, look, I'm in my car.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
I'm driving around. I was at Maserati here in Pensacola, Florida, because I had a venue to go to do exactly what I'm doing right now, bring awareness to this great program.
That's fantastic, man. Tell us some of the events that you guys hold. Some of the things that you bring to light. Yeah, some of the events you hold. So
we started this in 2017. It was incepted. I've been coaching. I played football. Javi knows I played football. Yeah, we're North Bergen guys. And if anybody's watching from North Bergen, that Bruin blood is strong. That red and gold run through our blood. Rest in peace, Coach Askeles. Rest in peace. Recently, Coach Bello passed away. But with that being said, we can continue to pull that legacy forward and start legacies over and leave something behind. And I'm just another guy from Jersey that had an opportunity and got a platform to make change. And football is just something that I love. That's my love language. You know what I'm saying? So what we did is we started a program that is 100% free. These kids don't pay $1 at all. And the reason they don't pay $1 is because the community that gets behind it. Now, this is a wider base community that I'm on this show with you, bringing awareness to it because we want to keep it free. Now, we started with football because that was my love. And what we ended up doing was this year, we're expanding our program into 4 more sports: basketball, baseball, soccer, and probably another one. We don't know what it is, depending on what the interest is. But why are we doing that? Because it allows us to impact more kids on more platforms of sports and to keep it free. And the only way we keep it free is getting the community, getting people like you, and just getting the awareness out for people to donate and support the program. And it's not always.
I put the link in the bio. I put the link down below in the comments.
Yeah, it's not always about funding. It's not always about funding. It's about look at what we do. If you believe in what we do, what can you do to elevate it? And I know you've probably heard this before. It takes a village.
Yeah, absolutely.
and that's what we need right now. So yeah, it's dope. What we do is 5 Saturdays in April. We put up a free football clinic where it's non-contact, non-competitive for boys and girls, and
Nice.
we teach them the fundamentals of football over 5 Saturdays. Why do we do over 5 Saturdays? Because the number I wore when I played football was 5. The street I grew up on was 5th Street in North Bergen.
Mm-hmm.
And
so it means a lot to you.
It means a lot. And we do 5 weeks because we teach the kids 5 pillars of success.
Give us those 5 pillars. Yeah, those 5 pillars.
5 pillars of success: practice, teamwork, focus, discipline, and respect. Every single one of those pillars means a lot when it comes to sport, but it means a lot when it comes to life.
Yeah.
So what we do is we teach these kids, like the first clinic is a combine. We run 40s, we do L drills, we do the normal basic stuff. The second clinic for football, each kid gets to be a specific position. They run offensive line drills, quarterback drills, linebacker drills, wide receiver drills. That's week 2. Week 3, this is where we're different. This is where that line in the sand is drawn. Future Stars Football Clinic, these kids come out, they think they're going to be on the field, putting their cleats on, throwing footballs around. No. We take our kids. Last year, we planted 250,000 sea oats on the beach to preserve our beaches down here in Florida.
That's beautiful.
Why do we do that? It teaches the kids to give back at an early age. And not only that, the community that supports us, we show them that we support them as well.
Fantastic.
It's a full circle program. I love it. And we're about to go into multiple sports. And it's my passion. It's what I love to do. And when you find your why,
man, I say that all the time. Absolutely.
There's nothing else behind it except just moving forward. And my why is to impact the youth, to change society. Period.
Well, I got your back, man, and whatever you need from me, I'm here to help you guys. Yeah, you guys. I believe in your mission. I believe in what you do. I love the way you guys run the program. But really checking out some of the videos. I went deep into the website. The 5 pillars, I already knew about them because I agree with them 100%. I think that's beautiful. Yo, man, thank you, bro. Thank you for dropping that knowledge on us. I put the link down below. If you guys can help, if anybody wants to donate, definitely put it out there. Hopefully, this program expands to an area near you where your kids.
Let's pin it on the group, bro. Let's pin it out on the Facebook group.
Yeah.
Bro.
Hey, Mike, that's the plan. The 2-4-6-year plan. Once we stand up these 5 sports for 5 weeks, we'll be operating for 25 weeks out of the year. And then the architecture's there. And what we're going to do is take this program and pick it up from Fort Walton Beach, Florida, and bring it to another community that needs
that'd be fantastic.
That. So that's the plan. And if you're listening, that's what we're going to do. And
if you're interested in volunteering, if you're interested in donating, the link is down below.
Yep. Hey,
jump on it, man. Jump on it.
One more plug, if you don't mind.
Mm-hmm.
So Future Star Sports Clinic, you can go to the website, futurestarssportsclinic.com. But our volunteer base, and I have to say this because I'm a veteran of the United States Marine Corps, 14 years.
Nice.
Our volunteer base is core of either active duty or veteran military, along with coaches and keyword student athletes. We have student athletes that come back and volunteer. And what we do for those student athletes, the ones that play football or whatever sport, this year we sent 4 student athletes to Alabama, Valdosta State, Florida State, and Auburn, to camps that they didn't have to pay for because we took care of them because they're going out of their way to learn how to give back.
Man, fantastic, bro. That's awesome, bro. I hear the passion in your voice, so I know you're really, into it and you're 100% sold. I'm sold. I love it, man. We're gonna, like I said, I have your back on whatever you guys need. Any additional, we're gonna have you back on at some point, definitely to promote it again, and because you were a great guest. So, ladies and gentlemen, once again, I want to thank you for joining us in our living room, our barber shop. As we walk off the beaten path, we try to give you a little different perspective on sports. I'm here as usual with my crew. My man Petey Pablo's out for the day, but he'll be back next week. We got my man AK, my man Javito, and my man the General himself, Chris Torres. Thank you for showing up and helping us out here tonight. Ladies and gentlemen, so this is how it goes. Sports is my love language. I know it's yours. I'm thankful that you show up every day so we can talk it out. They say the 2 most amazing days of your life are the day you're born and the day you discover why. This has been the Sports is My Love Language podcast. And I'm your host, Dropping Dimes, aka the Hope Romantic, aka the feminist chauvinist tendencies. And they said the two most important days of your life, like I said, are the day you're born and the day you found out why. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you for walking in our why. Have a great one, people.
Go Birds!
Let's go Birds!
There you go, there you go, there you go, there you go. Dum, dum, dum. Oh, man.